Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa ashabi ajma'in amma ba'd. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. So inshallah tonight is our Tafseer course lesson number 16, and inshallah the part is 7b, part 7b, and inshallah here this name, the name of this series, inshallah we find that as we know, last time we had talked about who wrote the Qur'an, and we talked about the introduction to it. Now we are going to talk about who wrote the Qur'an, and then we are going to name this lesson by saying Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't write the Qur'an. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't write the Qur'an for material gain, power and glory. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he didn't write the Qur'an for material gain or power and glory. Inshallah, I want to mention that I wanted to put the topic as we had mentioned last time, just to say that as we know that we are going to talk about now the first claim, and we find that last time we had mentioned three opinions that they were basically made by these people. The people who they said, that the Quran is not, they said about the Quran. What did they say about the Quran? There were opinions. First of all, they said, one of them they say that they say that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam he wrote the Quran. The second, they say that the Quran it was written by someone else, and then it was taught to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then the third people, they say that they believe that the Quran is the pure word of Allah Azza, having no human author. Now I'm going to explain us these three opinions. The first claim now, the one we are going to talk about today, is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam he wrote the Quran, in which I will be talking about. Let me just first introduce by saying that those people who you find that they claim that the Quran it was written by Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam have given him a different motive for doing so, and they can basically be divided into the following groups. They can basically be divided into the following groups. The first one is for material gain or power and glory. Number two, to unite the Arabs or to morally reform them. And number three, epileptic seizures or self-delusions. Epileptic seizures or self-delusions. So you find that when we talk about Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam writing the Quran, this is we know that it is not true. But now we are going to explain it to you. People now, we find that the people who had claimed that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had written the Quran, they give him a different motive. And we find that we have seen that some of people, they say that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam wrote the Quran because of material gain or power and glory. Other people, they say Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam wrote the Quran to unite the Arabs or to morally reform them. And other people, they said Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam he wrote the Quran for epileptic seizures or for the self-delusions. So these are the three things. Now, so you can see that we have divided into three things. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if you are saying he has written the Quran, let me just mention some few things before we come for this our part for material gain or power and glory. With Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam being perhaps the most well documented man in human history, we can easily examine these claims and compare them to his life. We can compare them to his life. Firstly, the claim that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam wrote the Quran is not new. His own people, they made this claim, and in response to this claim, God Allah Azza wa Jal, He revealed the following. So inshallah we go to Surah Yunus chapter number 10 verse number 15 to 16, which says that وَإِذَا تُتْلَى عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتُنَا بَيِّنَاتٍ قال الذين لا يرجون لقاء نأتي بقرآن غير هذا أو بدل كل ما يكون لي أن أبدله من تلقاء نفسي إن أتبع إلى ما يوحى إلي إني أخاف إن عصيت ربي عذاب يوم عظيم قل لو شاء الله ما تلوته عليكم ولا أدركم به فقد لبثت فيكم أمورا من قبل أفلا تعقلون. So inshallah, what does this verse mean? Here it says that and when our clear verses they are recited unto them, those who hope not for their meeting with us, they say, bring us a Qur'an other than this or change it. But here now is one point I want to talk about. Say, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it is not for me to change it on my own accord. I only follow that which is revealed unto me. Verily, I fear if I were to disobey my Lord, the torment of the great day, that is the day of resurrection. Then say, if Allah had so willed, I should not have recited it to you, nor would He have made it known to you. Verily, I have stayed amongst you a lifetime before this. Have you then no sense? So this verse is telling his critics to reflect on the fact that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he lived amongst them from 40 years before reciting the Qur'an to them, while never showing any signs of inclination to poetry, and themselves knowing that he was illiterate. So if he could not read or write, then where did these magnificent verses come from? A very important question. So we can see through this verse that there is a lot of teachings for us to know. As you can see that Allah Azza wa Jal, He is saying that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was saying now to those people who are claiming that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had written the Quran. So Allah Azza wa Jal told that, say, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, say this. So Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was told to say this wording to them, that it is not for me to change it on my own accord. It is not for me to change it on my own accord. That this, what we can understand from here is that he is saying that I cannot change this Quran on my own selves. I cannot change it. It is not for me to change it on my own accord. And then the Prophet ﷺ goes ahead by saying that I only follow that which is revealed unto me. So he's saying that he is only following that which is revealed to him from Allah Azza wa Jal. So there is a concept here which is called a wahi that is coming to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There is a revelation that is coming to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the Prophet is saying that I am following only that which is revealed unto him. Verily, I fear the torment of the great day. You can see that here the Prophet ﷺ is mentioning that he is fearing the great day. He is fearing the judgment, the day of judgment. Because if you lie, there's a problem that will happen to you on the day of judgment after you die. Everybody is gonna die. So the Prophet ﷺ is saying that I am fearing the torment of the great day. That's the day of the judgment, the day of the great day, that's the day of resurrection. And then the Prophet ﷺ goes on by saying, if I were to disobey my Lord. So he is fearing that day of judgment, and as well as he is fearing to disobey Allah. He is fearing to disobey Allah. He fears If he will disobey, he knows the repercussion will become bad to him. And he does not disobey Allah Azza wa Jal. Also, that's another meaning. Then we go to the next verse, which is verse 16, says that, say, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that if Allah had so willed, I should not have recited it to you, nor would He have made it known to you. I think so. What I'm saying is that if Allah had so willed, I should not have recited it to you, nor would He, Allah Azza wa Jal, have made it known to you. So what is meaning here is that here we are talking about Allah is the one who has created us. So He has the power over us. That is now knowing Allah Azza wa Jal. When you know Allah Azza wa Jal, He has power over us. Everything that we find that it is coming, all of it is from Allah Azza wa Jal. Everything, the guidance is coming from Allah Azza wa Jal. The food, the shelter, everything is coming from Allah Azza wa Jal. So he is saying that, the Prophet is saying that if Allah had so willed, I should not have recited it to you. So here is meaning that, if Allah had willed, He will not have made the Prophet ﷺ recite these verses to the people. He would have killed him or done something to the Prophet ﷺ. But you find that the Prophet ﷺ is mentioning that if Allah had willed, He will not have recited that verses. But Allah willed, and so the Prophet ﷺ has recited these verses to the disbelievers. And then go on, nor would He have made it known to you. Yeah. Nor would Allah have made it known to you. But we find that Allah has made it known to people about the verses of the Qur'an. Alright, okay? And then, verily, I stayed amongst you a lifetime before this. And here also, the Prophet mentioning is that, he had stayed with them for 40 years before even mentioning about the Quran. He didn't mention for the whole 40 years about anything about Quran, but only after 40 years he mentioned it. And have you then no sense? So it's a question asking you, do you have any sense? You people, can you not understand here that this is from Allah Azza wa Jal? This Quran is from Allah Azza wa Jal. There is no contradiction in the Quran. Why is it that the Prophet ﷺ is allowed to mention this verse to you? Why is it that the Prophet, Allah Azza wa Jal did not stop the Prophet ﷺ from mentioning this verse to him? So let us understand. Let us put this in our mind. Let us just put this in our mind. The point is that we don't put it in our mind. That's the wrong perception we have. We don't think too much. We are just, hearing and then everything. We don't say anything good, but we just blabber here. So we should be thinking in a good way about this. That's why you find that we are mentioning here that also another reason here is that the Prophet ﷺ, he was illiterate. He was not able to read or write. Then where did these magnificent verses come from? Makes sense that this cannot be from a person, but is from Allah Azza wa Jal. So also we have to reflect on the fact that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he is commanded in that verse above to say twice, and this is a command to make a certain statement to the people, and one can find this command say 332 times throughout the Quran. And in other places in the Quran, he is ordered to proclaim, to glorify your Lord, to prostrate yourself and others also. So we ask, is this how a man talks to himself or writes a book? Because we find that you cannot have a book which is written say or proclaim or glorify your Lord, or there is no any book that has been written just like the Quran. And that's why you have to just think. Also, one, he must consider the fact that even before his prophethood of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was known amongst his people as Al-Amin, the trustworthy and the truthful, and no one has ever recorded a lie against him. So this is also another fact. We find that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has been mentioned as Al-Amin, that is trustworthy. Every time mention Al-Amin, he was trustworthy. If you want to keep anything, go to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you want to to discuss good things, go to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because he was trustworthy. He will hear to you. He is a person who is trustworthy. You want to put something Al-Amana, you want to put something like maybe you have a property, you want to give it to him, you can give it to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He will take it for you, because a person is of trustworthy. People knew him people knew that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was trustworthy. Now we want to go ahead by mentioning of the many Western historians who they agree with this analysis. I will start with George Bernard Shaw, who find that he say that if a man like Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam were to assume the dictatorship of the modern world, he will succeed in solving its problem. That will bring it the much needed peace and happiness. So he's saying that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if he was amongst the modern world, he would have solved a lot of problems which we are facing currently even, and you find that he will have bring that peace and happiness among the people. That is George Bernard Shaw, Western historian. He is not an Arab. Then you have Michael H. Hart, who wrote a book called The 100 Ranking of the Most Influential Persons in History. And he said that, and if you can go to his book in page 33, he said, "My choice of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to lead the list of the world's most influential persons may surprise some readers and may be questioned by others, but he was the only man in history who was supremely successful on both the religious and secular level." Full stop. End of quote. So you can see that even Michael H. Hart is mentioning something of good, that when he mentioned the top, the ranking of the most influential people, the top 100, he wrote Muhammad as number 1, and this is something which we find that it is showing that he is respecting Muhammad sallallahu, and the reason he's saying is because of his successfulness in the religious and secular level, and also he was influential to many people. Then we have Diwan Chand Sharma, who wrote the book The Prophets of the East, page I think so it's 22. I'm not very sure, but can check it. He said that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was the soul of kindness, and his influence was felt and was never forgotten by those around him. And find that if you see this, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was a kind person. He's saying that, and he's saying that he was also an influential person, and also he was never forgotten. Even now we don't forget him, we are talking about him. Then we have Bosworth Smith, who wrote Muhammad and Muhammadanism, page 92. He said that he was Caesar and Pope in one, but he was Pope without Pope's pretensions. Caesar without the legions of Caesar, without a standing army, without a bodyguard, without a palace, without a fixed revenue. If ever any man had the right to say that he ruled by the right divine, it was Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, for he had all the power without its instruments and without its supports. So he was comparing Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam with Caesar. I don't know if we call him Caesar and Pope, but that spelling is Caesar. And he's saying that Caesar, I think, is about a famous person, and he was saying that that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was Pope without Pope's pretension, and he was Caesar without the legions of Caesar, because of the fact that he didn't have any army, he didn't have any bodyguard, he didn't have any palace, he didn't have any fixed revenue. Look at it. And if ever any man had the right to say he ruled by the right divine, it was Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because he was very just person. He was ruling according to the way that he was told by Allah Azza wa Jal to rule. That is what Bosworth Smith is saying. Look, and he's saying that if even he had all the power without its instrument and without its support, it's something, you find that you cannot find any king who doesn't have a palace. But Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was, as they say, a leader, but he didn't have any palace, didn't have any, standing army. It was just, very interesting. And inshallah, we are going to have bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. If you are a non-Muslim or if you are a Muslim, inshallah, we are going to have the seerah of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam just in this also YouTube channel, in this Dawah group. You can see it in our WhatsApp. It will be available, inshallah, for free. We are going to have a series from, there's a lot to talk about the seerah. We are going to go deep into it also. And inshallah, that is what we want to do. But also, there are also some other places you can get the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ in YouTube, and other also books that are available. But we're going to do it bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So let us go on by mentioning that. Now we go to another person who is Lamartine, who wrote the book Historia della Turquía. This is a French philosopher, I think so. And you go to volume 2, page 276 to 277, you say that philosopher, orator, apostle, legislator, warrior, conqueror of ideas, restorer of rational dogmas, of a cult without images, the founder of 20 terrestrial empires and of one spiritual empire, that is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As regards all standards by which human greatness may be measured, we may well ask, is there any man greater than he? So, you can see that Lamartine, he is saying that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a philosopher, he is orator, he is an apostle, he is a legislator, he is a warrior, he is a conqueror of ideas, he is a restorer of rational dogmas, he is one with he is of a cult without images, he is the founder of the 20 terrestrial empires. Look at that. And that empire, which is a spiritual empire, not just an ordinary empire, a spiritual empire, and that is of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Look at what is very interesting, very putting, and very words from this guy. And he's saying that as regards all these standards by which the human greatness may be measured, we may well ask, is there any man greater than he? Is there any man greater than he? So really, he's telling that our role model should be Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That is all, because he is a person, his philosopher, his orator, apostle, legislator, everything. He's everything, And it's interesting, that this is by a non-Muslim. There's something I find that is interesting, that non-Muslim, they're saying something like that, and we are shocked about that. We are not even shocked, because we find that this will happen. This will happen. Okay? Let us go ahead. Now we have Annie Besant. Annie Besant, who wrote the book The Life and Teachings of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, page 4. He say that, I think that she said that it is impossible for anyone who studies the life and character of the great prophet of Arabia, who knows how he taught and how he lived, to feel anything but reverence for that mighty prophet, one of the great messengers of the Supreme. And although in what I put to you I shall say many things which may be familiar to many, yet I myself feel whenever I reread them a new way of admiration, a new sense of reverence for that mighty Arabian teacher. So that's another one caught by Annie Besant. Annie Besant is a person who's looking from Madras, maybe I think so, it's India. Yeah. So he's saying that she's saying that it is impossible to find a person who has that character or has that life like of the great Prophet of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because of the fact that the way he was taught, the way he was lived, the way he was living, the way people they were giving reverence to him, and the fact that he was a great messenger, he was doing a lot of good works, and although he has many things, she's saying that whenever he read that story, she gets new admiration every time, and a new reverence to that mighty messenger, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and a teacher. So she is saying that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a teacher to her, because of the fact that he is teaching a lot of things to her. So we go to another one is W. Montgomery Watt, who wrote the book Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam at Makkah, page 52. He said, his readiness to undergo persecution for his beliefs, the high moral character of the man who believed in him and looked up to him as leader, and the greatness of his ultimate achievement all argue his fundamental integrity. To suppose Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam an impostor raises more problem than it solves. Moreover, none of the great figures of history is so poorly appreciated in the West as Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he's saying that because of the fact that if you see the seerah of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the biography, you find that he undergo a lot of persecution for his belief, and we find that because of that fact, he's saying that that's a greatness in itself, and of the fact that he had a high moral character, also that is another great thing, and also for the fact that he looked up to him as a leader, that's another great character of him. And for the fact that he had a lot of achievement, that's a great thing. And for the fact that also that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was, if you put, or if you say that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a liar, or put something wrong into him, it will create more problem than it solves. And now you find that is now the fact. You find that a lot of problems that are happening within the Muslim Ummah is the fact that people, they are fighting over the creating of cartoons and such like things, and we find that what we should be doing is that we should go and talk with them in a gentle way, and try to have a cool discussion with those people who are doing this such works of cartoon and I don't know what. So we should be respecting the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, should not be disrespecting him. So you can see that the people, they are not appreciating Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, also he's mentioning that. So we ask now this audience to reflect on the following. The following is it logical to believe that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who until the age of 40, and as we mentioned here earlier, was known to his people as Al-Amin, the trustworthy, and who is still admired even by the Western scholars for his honesty and integrity, all of a sudden began to write a book that is unmatched in literary merit and that has not been matched by legions of the Arab poets and orators of the highest caliber throughout history? Question. Is it possible to say that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam made a false claim, and on that very falsehood trained thousands of individuals of outstanding character, integrity and honesty who are able to establish the best human society that the world has ever known? So we cannot, if you try to answer this question, you find that it is not logical to believe that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam he claimed to write the book. We are saying that he is a person who is of trustworthy. is a person of trustworthy. And now, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, inshallah, I find that I wanted to have the discussion on the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As we mentioned that we have divided those people who have claimed that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam written the Qur'an. We have divided that into three. First is for material gain or power and glory. Second is to unite the Arabs or to morally reform them. 3 is to elliptic Caesars or self-delusions. Now I want to start with for material gains or power and glory. That Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam wrote the Quran for material gains and power. Now I see that there is a lot to discuss in this. So inshallah, I don't know if we can stop here, and then we will talk about this in our next lesson. So in that regards, I will be stopping here. But before I stop here, I want to mention that I want to change now again the topic. We will be calling this lesson another name. As we mentioned here that we have a lot. This is a series of lectures of who wrote the Quran, and we have a lot to discuss on about, and there is a lot of discussion that needs to be talked on about on this fact. So let us reframe, because of the fact that this is lesson 16, Tafseer course lesson 16, part 7b. We will call it Who Wrote the Quran? Introduction to the first claim. Introduction to the first claim. So I'll call it Introduction to the first claim that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam wrote the Quran. And then inshallah, the next session we will talk about that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam wrote the Quran for material gain or power. Is it true or not? And then we are going to discuss it in a very great detail bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. So we finish this lesson of number 16 bi-idhnillahi ta'ala by saying subhanaka Allahumma bihamdik ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.